everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are completely new to soccer and you're like, I want to learn, I want to know what the rules are, at least enough so that I can enjoy watching the game, you are in the perfect place. I'm going to break down the basics into 6 different things that you need to know about soccer, and by the end of it, you'll know enough about the sport to enjoy watching the game. So let's get started. Let's start off with the absolute basics of the game. Each soccer game takes place for 90 minutes. Those 90 minutes are divided into 2 45-minute halves, and each of those halves may have some extra time added on to the end of it, and that's called stoppage time. Stoppage time basically accounts for any time the ball goes out of play or play is stopped for stuff like injuries, penalties, or even if the ball just goes out of bounds. Each team can have 11 players on the field at each time. There's always going to be one goalie on the field, and then there will be defenders, midfielders, and forwards. Each team can decide how they want to divide up their players on the field. So not all teams are going to have the same number of defenders facing each other or midfielders or attackers facing each other at a certain time. Some common formations include 4-4-2, where you have 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 2 forwards. Sometimes teams will mix it up and do 4-2-3-1 if they want to have more layers in their formation as well. So teams really get to decide how they want their players to be formatted on the field. And of course, the objective of the game is to score more goals than the opposing team. A goal is scored when the ball entirely crosses the goal line within the net bounds, so between the posts and below the crossbar. As long as it passes that entire goal line, it'll be a clean goal. Now let's talk about what happens when the ball goes out of play.
This is your soccer field. The outermost white lines show where the ball is allowed to be in play. If the ball crosses one of the sideline boundaries, so in either of the places where the red lines are, play restarts with a throw-in. The throw-in is given to the team that did not touch the ball last. So we have the purple team and the yellow team. If the yellow team kicks the ball out along the sideline, the purple team is going to get the throw-in. If the ball is kicked out beyond the goal line, which is this red line over here, 2 possibilities can happen. If it is the yellow team, so you'll see the yellow team is attacking towards the purple net. If the yellow team kicks the ball out along that red line, the purple team is going to get a goal kick. A goal kick has to be taken anywhere within the 6-yard box, so the box that's purple on your screen right now. If it's the purple team that kicks the ball out along that red line, so along their own goal line, then the yellow team is going to get a corner kick. The corner kick takes place in either of the corners, but it's going to happen on the side that the play gets out of bounds. So for example, if the purple team kicks it out on the left side of the field, the corner kick is going to happen from the left corner of the field.
The third thing to understand about soccer is fouls and cards. If a player commits a foul, the referee can give the opposite team a free kick. A foul can be something like tripping, holding, or pushing a player from the opposing team. For fouls that are more serious, referees can issue cards to players. So there are yellow cards and there are red cards. Yellow cards are basically like warning cards. If a player receives a yellow card, they can continue playing in the game, but if they receive 2 yellow cards, that automatically will become a red card. A red card is essentially telling the player that you have to get off the field right now and you can't keep playing in the game. The main consequence with that red card is that the team has to continue playing the game with 1 fewer player than the opposing team. So for example, if one player on a purple team gets a card against the yellow team, initially both of the teams started with 11 players on the field. Now the purple team is going to have to finish off the game with 10 players against the yellow team's 11 players. So that's the biggest disadvantage when a player gets carded, when the player gets a red card specifically. The fourth thing to understand is how the goalie plays a part in the game. Obviously, their goal is to be that last line of defense to make sure the ball doesn't enter the net. The goalie is the only player on the field who's able to use their hands at any time. The only thing is that there are certain exceptions when they're able to use their hands. The goalie can only use their hands to stop the ball when they're within their own penalty area. And that penalty area is the 18-yard box closest to their own net. The 18-yard box is the bigger box that's around their net. There's also something called the pass back rule that goalies have to be aware of. When a player from their own team intentionally passes the ball back to them, they can't use their hands. They kind of becomes like they're just having an 11th player on the field without the ability to use their hands when the ball is deliberately passed back to them. Now let's move on to the offside rule, which is arguably the most difficult to understand rule in soccer.
So again, here's your soccer field. For this, we're going to say that the yellow team is attacking and the purple team is defending. You can see in this diagram that the purple team has 3 defenders. The defender that's closest to their net is the one that we have to pay attention to for the offside rule. I drew the blue line across so you could see what that offside line is going to be. Since it's that last defender that we need to pay attention to for offside, I'm going to get rid of the other 2 just to make the diagram a little bit more simple. Now, I added in that attacking player, the yellow A. Now, let's say that that yellow attacker does not have the ball. They're waiting on a pass from their teammate. Because they are closer to the purple team's net than the last defender, they're going to be offside. If they then become involved in the play, so let's say their teammate passes them the ball while they're standing in that offside position, the referee will stop the game and give a free kick to the purple team. Even in this diagram, where the A is very slightly offside, past that offside line that I've drawn in, that will still be an offside call. In professional soccer, you'll hear of something called VAR, which is Video Assistant Referee. So if it's a very close offside call like that, sometimes the referees will go look at the VAR screen to see if the play is actually offside. Even if the attacker is slightly offside like that, or their toe is beyond the defender's arm, or whatever the case, if they are past that last defender, no matter by how little, they are offside. This diagram shows what would be onside. So that attacking player is not past that offside line. They still have space to run up when the pass is made to go around the defender, but before the pass is made, they're behind the defender. The only time that an attacker can be closer to the defending team's net is when that attacker is still in their own half. So you can see in this diagram over here, all of the purple team's defenders are on the yellow team's side. They're in the yellow team's half for whatever reason. If that attacking player is still standing in their own half, even if they're ahead of the defenders, they cannot be called offside when the ball is passed. The key thing to remember is that the player's position is judged at the moment that the pass is made, not when they receive the ball.
And finally, let's talk about how tournament games work. Each league can have slightly different ways that it operates in terms of determining who the winner of the game is. But if we're looking at something like the World Cup, for example, or the Champions League, the traditional format is that they will have kind of like group play, and then they'll move into knockout rounds. Generally, in group stages, a game can end in a tie. When a team wins a game, they're awarded 3 points. When they tie a game, each team gets 1 point. And when a team loses a game, it gets 0 points for that game. The teams with the most points at the end of the group stages generally advance into the knockout rounds. When teams advance to the knockout stages, that's when games have to have a winner. There can't be any ties in knockout stages because the team that wins will advance into the next rounds and the team that loses is eliminated from the tournament. If after 90 minutes of play the game is tied, they still need to continue playing to try and figure out who's going to win that match. So extra time will be played, and then if after that extra time the game is still tied, that's when the teams will advance into penalty shootouts. Generally, the teams will start with 5 players on each team doing those penalty shootouts, and whichever team gets the most goals out of those 5 wins the game. If, let's say, after those 5 players take their shots, there's still no winner determined, they've tied on the number of shots that they've been successful in scoring, then they'll continue to cycle through the rest of the team until a winner is determined. And those are my 6 tips for beginners to learn before starting to watch soccer so that you can actually understand and enjoy the game. Now, of course, you're naturally going to learn more as you continue to watch the game, but these are some pretty basic starting points to help you at least have that foundation. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more content, and if you want to learn more about some other sport, let me know which one you want me to do next in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.